It starts with the hiss, the sound of nothing, filling the space between worlds. In my line of work, silence is a commodity, a brief, fragile peace between one crisis and the next. I was deep in a dead zone, miles from the nearest signal, trying to breathe. The only thing I was trying to fix was a broken shortwave receiver, an analog relic from a forgotten time. I thought a little solder and a lot of patience was all it would take. I was wrong. My name is Mark Ash. I'm a fixer. When systems fail and people are caught in the gears, I'm the one they call. I operate in the shadows, guided by a personal code, forged in a past I've spent my life trying to outrun. But some ghosts don't stay buried. Some find a way to broadcast. That's when I first heard her. A voice, clawing its way through 30 years of silence, carried on a wave of static. The receiver was a stubborn beast, a Kenwood from the early 90s, built like a tank. I'd been tinkering with it for hours, chasing a loose connection. I was about to give up when a whisper cut through the noise. Faint, distorted, a girl's voice laced with a terror so raw it felt present, immediate. "Mayday, is anyone there? Please." I'm on Route 9. He's chasing me. My first thought was a hoax. A pre-recorded ghost story broadcast by some college kid with too much time on his hands. The airwaves are full of them. But this was different. The signal was weak, localized, and shouldn't have been reaching me here, in a place deliberately chosen for its electronic void. I fine-tuned the dial, my fingers tracing the cold metal. The voice sharpened. "He ran me off the road. My car, it's in the ravine. I'm hurt, Pete. I'm hurt." And then, a burst of clarity that froze the blood in my veins. A digital timestamp, glitched but legible on the receiver's tiny screen, crackled through the speaker. October 17th, 1992. Logic fought instinct. It was impossible. A temporal echo? A sophisticated prank? My mind, trained to dismantle problems into their component parts, couldn't process it. But my gut, the part of me that survived the streets, the fighting pits, the betrayals, told me to listen. So I did. For 3 days. I sat with that radio, tracing the signal's faint signature, amplifying it, cleaning it. And she kept talking. She sobbed out a name between panicked breaths, Sarah Jenkins. I left the dead zone and went to work. Public records, old newspaper archives. It didn't take long to find her. Sarah Jenkins, age 19, died in a single-vehicle accident on Route 9, October 17, 1992. The official report was clean, clinical. Lost control on a wet road. A tragic, simple end. But the ghost of Sarah Jenkins told a different story. She spoke of a black sedan with no lights, a pursuit, a deliberate act. Then the transmissions changed. The fear was still there, but it was mixed with something else, a strange clarity. She started giving me coordinates, not for her crash site, but for other places. An abandoned warehouse on the industrial west side. A loading dock down by the river. A steel truss bridge on the outskirts of the city. Each coordinate was a jolt, a key turning a lock I'd sealed shut decades ago. These weren't random locations. They weren't her memories. They were mine. The warehouse was where a rival syndicate leader had disappeared in '93. The docks were where an informant was silenced in '95. The bridge was where the betrayal that sent me underground for years had its bloody finale. These weren't just dark chapters in the city's history. They were my work. Contracts I'd taken when I was a younger man, a different man. A blunt instrument for hire before I forged my own code. Before I started trying to balance the scales. The realization hit me like a physical blow. The radio wasn't haunted by a random spirit. Sarah Jenkins wasn't just a voice from the past. She was a map, a ghost cartographer, charting a course through my own sins. Each call, each coordinate, was another skeleton being dragged from my closet. I had built my new life, this persona of the righteous fixer, the guardian for the overlooked, on a foundation of carefully buried bodies and convenient lies. I told myself I was dismantling the corrupt systems that created me. But her voice was a constant, crackling reminder. I was one of their tools. The final transmission came last night. The signal was perfect. No static, no hiss, just her voice, calm now. Resigned, as if she'd finally reached her destination. She didn't talk about the crash or the chase. She talked about the man who was driving the black sedan, the man who ordered her death because she'd found something she wasn't supposed to find. And then she gave me his name. It wasn't a stranger. It was a name I knew well. A pillar of the community, a philanthropist, a man whose corrupt empire I had been methodically targeting for the last 2 years. The man who sat at the very top of the system I'd sworn to destroy, and the man who, all those years ago, had signed my paychecks. He hired me for the warehouse. He hired me for the docks. He orchestrated everything. Exposing him would be the culmination of my life's work. It would bring down the entire rotten structure, but it would also expose me. The world would see the evidence, the connections, the coordinates. The fixer would be revealed as the accomplice, the guardian, a killer. Everything I've built, the trust, the network, the slim chance at redemption, would turn to ash. The radio hummed, waiting for my response. Her voice echoed in my head, a final, terrible offer. You can make him pay, Mark. You know where he is. You know what to do. Or you can turn the radio off. You can bury me all over again. The choice isn't about bringing justice for a ghost anymore. It's about who I am now. Do I silence the truth to save the life I've constructed? Or do I burn my own world to the ground to finally, truly let her rest? The static is gone, and the silence is louder than any scream.